Types of inquiries. If you had to segment inquiries by quality, A, B, and C, how would you determine the factors that decide which category each inquiry belongs to? That's a good question. You know, if I had to segment by quality, I think the first quality has to be based around cost. Yeah, it has to be based around cost. So, do they even have enough money for PR? Because most of what I'm aiming for is a budget of at least $15,000 a month on an ongoing retainer. Now, I don't always get that. And sometimes, we work with clients at maybe a 10K level or even less than that. But that's not ideal. I don't want to have a bunch of really, really small clients because every client has problems. And the more clients you have, the more problems you have. I would much rather have a few big clients. It's a good balance. You don't want to have like too many big ones because if one leaves, then the whole thing is destroyed. Too many small, and it's always a problem with somebody. But having a good mix between small and big is important. And I think one way is just based on cost. So, I would want, I would basically just say cost has got to be the most important factor. If you don't have at least $5,000 a month, I don't even want to talk to you. 5 to 10,000, not ideal, not good. Deprioritize. Like if it's an amazing company and like they're backed and they're interesting, like if all these other factors right align, then maybe I'll talk to them. The next would be 10 to 15K, great, sweet spot, love to talk to them. Anything above that, anything 15, 20K, great, love it, love to talk to them. So I think cost is the number one. The second thing is just like, what do they do has got to be like, what sector are they in? Has got to be the next like thing, because the truth of the matter is I have a very hard time closing any sort of new business that I don't have an existing case study I can point to, unless it comes in via word of mouth, like, oh, a friend of somebody is coming in and they know me and they vouch for me. Then even if I don't have experience in that industry, because that person vouched for me, they'll sign me and it's great. And that's how I can kind of break into a new area. And that happens a lot. However, if they're just coming in off the website and they're just looking at the website and they're one of those people, I cannot close them if I do not have someone in my sector. So it's almost like they have to kind of slot into like an existing bucket, because it's almost like a waste of time. We'll have the greatest conversation in the world. They might have the perfect budget. They might love my model. But every single time, the conversation is going to be like, who have you worked with in our space? Have you done, you know, PR work for companies who do X like us? And can you send us some examples of some wins you've gotten? And if I can't say yes, of course, let me send you those over to this later this afternoon. Conversation is basically over. I have zero chance of signing them, because that's almost one of the other main reasons when you start looking at like when people are looking for a PR agency, they're looking for a PR agency that does PR in their specific space, because they feel like I need somebody that gets what I do. And I want to emphasize that. That is super, super important. I just had a call with somebody who came in as like a referral from somebody that I didn't know, but they saw me and they thought, oh, he has a client who does construction, like PR. And so they introduced me to one of their portfolio clients or companies, and I talked to them, and they were like, yeah, we're looking for a PR agency who just like operates in the construction space, because if you're speaking our language, we know that's what we want. So it may be silly, it may be like kind of silly that it's like, of course I can speak any language. It's not like I need, construction experience to do that job well. But that is just the perception in the market that that is what is needed. And so I would say, in addition to cost, the second thing that I need to line up is that that person or company, whatever, aligns with one of the sectors on my site, as in fintech, artificial intelligence, crypto, whatever it is, right? Those are the most important. The next is more subjective. And this is a little bit harder to quantify, but it would probably be something along the lines of like, how interesting is the thing that they're doing? For example, I had somebody come in to my site the other day. They were like from Korea. They like made like metal like products in Korea, like it just like, but they just like made like aluminum metal. Like, I mean, it was really weird. I didn't really. Or I had somebody come in and they were like from Houston, Texas, and they were like an energy company, but they were just like I don't know, like just an energy company. Like they just sold electricity, to like Houston people. I mean, it was just really weird. Like I don't know what my whole thing that I do. If you look at my companies and you look at the people I work with, it's like they're all trying to do disruptive, innovative things. And again, it's kind of subjective, like what is disruptive, what is innovative, but you kind of know what is not innovative, right? Like, you know that like an energy company that just does energy is not innovative. They're not doing something. It's not like sustainability or solar energy. It's just an energy company. Or like they're making metal products, lots of thousands of metal products, but there's no angle there. There's no way I can do PR for these people. So part of it, I would say, this sort of C category would be like, how innovative and disruptive are they? And I try to get at that by asking questions like, what is your traction? What is your momentum? And then I kind of evaluate it on the back end when I look at the lead. But if there was a way to kind of maybe ask a question, or have AI like kind of be used to filter out people who just clearly were not a right fit because they're not doing anything interesting, I would love that. It would save me some time for sure. But as it stands now, I would say the third sort of category that I'd look at is just like this one here, which is just like around a sort of unique, innovative disruptor category. Um, and then I think that's pretty much it. We don't. I would say the other thing too is like, and we don't really have to deal with this a lot, but like all of our clients really need to be speaking English, and so that pretty much limits a lot of the countries we work with. I mean, it could be U.S., Canada, Britain, Australia, New Zealand. Uh, you think about all the English speaking countries out there, and like we could work with them. We're not trying to do PR in other countries. We don't really have those capabilities. We don't know how. I mean, I'd have to translate it, then find media and other language. It just wouldn't. It would just be just too much work, and I couldn't do a good job for sure. And our company would just fail at that. So yeah, I think in general, like the other sort of segment, and we don't have, like I said, we don't really have to deal with this very often because we don't really get a lot of leads from other countries very often. But like if I had to sort of segment it, I'd say like if all of a sudden that does start to occur, it would have to be companies who are primarily based in the United States, doing business in the United States, and that's our primary media market that we operate in. And so anyone outside of that, it is going to be a little bit tougher because again, I can guarantee you they're going to be like, somebody from Canada is like, well, who have you, what Canada press do you know? And what Canada media have you gotten? And I wouldn't be able to tell them very much. So I think that's probably the other sort of factor here.